Hi, thanks for tuning in to Creatively Free. I'm your host, Ariel Grace. Today's episode is about time and the age old excuse that everyone uses at times in their life around why something can't happen, whether that's a personal goal or dream or little shift or tiny habit that we want to change. Whenever we get uncomfortable, our reptilian brain will come up with the excuses, and time is one of the main ones that comes up. I don't have time. The truth of it is, there's always time in this life for you to pursue whatever it is you want to pursue. And another excuse that will come in tied to the I don't have time, once you try to get over and adjust your behaviors around that limiting belief, is that you feel like you need a lot of time, not just that you don't have time, but that it will take a lot of time for you to achieve your dreams, for you to feel a certain way, for you to experience a certain experience. And so the invitation that I'm offering today is to really explore, where do you have repressed desires around limited beliefs and limited excuses that have come up in the past to say, I don't have enough. And how can you shift your perspective around those things to create tiny habits or opportunities or see things differently that you might have seen them before? So, concrete example for me, on a regular basis, I adjust my physical activity to meet my desires. And that doesn't mean that I'm a bodybuilder or do anything amazing, but I introduce crunches sometimes in the day, or core workouts while I'm driving, or movement around the body specific to dance and fluidity and, clearing old energy out of my system. And I introduce those things because I've started to value what I call somatics. A lot of people don't know what somatics is, but it's getting back into the body and valuing the body. And I mean the body like not just, getting exercise and moving, but paying attention to your organs and to the intelligence of your being in your body. And that's become important to me, to the point where I coach people around that. And so the body moving, like that has symbolic meaning as well. You've probably noticed that people talk about, power poses and dancing and that sort of things before they're going to give a presentation, for example. So everything's interrelated. So for me, when I want to change my state and I want to adjust how I experience and feel, I can do body practices to do so. And so now I use that as a primary way of adjusting both my health, my mental health, my well-being, and my experience of life. So if, for example, if I want to have more play in my life, I want to experience more play, for me, an access point to that is dance. Or another example is on your walk. If you take a walk, try skipping and see how that makes you feel. It might make you feel silly, but that actually cultivates access and working with your inner child. And so there's all these places where we can adjust. That's just one example. Like physical adjustments to my day allow me to feel the different desired feelings that I want to feel: more playful, more alive, more energized. And you can apply the same idea to pursuing your dreams. Let's say for me, like some of you who have been listening to my podcast, one of my dreams is to get this animated film made of a childhood love of mine that I turned into a fantasy story. This is around little characters deliver beach glass to humans. And so that dream seems really big, but instead of getting overwhelmed by it, even though I have gotten blocked and had to get creatively unblocked with it, now I'm outsourcing some of the support. I've crowdsourced the funds for that, and I'm able to hire illustrators. I'm working on getting pitching and submitting to publishers and agents and all this fun stuff, but it's not taking a lot of my time. It's just that I needed to become a master of my time and direct my time in very specific ways and pull in a team to support me. So that's something that I've had to learn around time and the experience of time and how to work with time to still accomplish my goals, but not always doing it in the traditional way that somebody might think, because I could do the illustrations. I have the skill set, but I don't have the interest or the time. And so that is one example as well around pursuing your dreams, how not having the time I could have used as a block to continuing my dream. But instead, I chose to find another way, to look at other avenues for continuing that energy. And so I think it all ties into your value system and, continuing to be and reflecting on what matters to you, what you want to pursue in your life, and making those tiny habit adjustments. I think BJ Fogg coined these tiny habits. I love his work. And, realizing that once you start practicing tiny habits and little adjustments, you'll notice that you actually eliminate a lot of things that don't matter to you in life and then add in a lot of things that do. And over time, these habits adjust and you do actually free up a lot more time spaciousness for the things that matter to you. For example, for me, I have to do some type of self-reflection journal or meditation. For a while when I'm really busy, I can combine that with my walk. So I can do a meditative walk. So I'm getting physical exercise and doing contemplation and reflection. But when I first started out meditating or, paying attention and observing my way, I would have the monkey mind and it would just be chatter, chatter, chatter when I would go on my walk or when I would meditate. So that wasn't an option for me. And recently, I've been noticing that I have had a lot more cognitive time because at my work, it's requiring a lot more of my mental capacity to do systems and design thinking and things like that. And when my brain gets overstimulated, it's just all up here. And so that's always an indication for me. That's cool. That's okay. And I know a lot of other ways. And so I like to rebalance. Everything for me is about rebalancing so that I can move in and out fluidly of different roles, responsibilities, commitments of time, and still maintain a general sense of soulful embodiment and well-being. And so that's the invitation to you, is to really take a look at where are you wanting to make adjustments. Become a heightened observer of your limited beliefs. And those might not be beliefs that are yours. I really suggest thinking of them as thought patterns that have been on repeat and gone into the grooves in your brain, and they are not necessarily telling you the truth. So observe them, pull them out, journal them, and then clear them and put in new thought patterns that you can really, focus on. You don't need to necessarily do affirmations, but that's a tool that some people find useful. I find affirmations only useful if I combine them with some kind of felt sense, because I'm very feeling oriented, or somatic combination. But whatever it takes to shift out of the limiting beliefs and become re-inspired by your, opportunities, that's when new thoughts will come in and new ideas and new energy will come in to create new thought patterns. And you will, over time, won't even revisit the I don't have time or it's not possible or whatever kind of blocking thoughts that you might have had. I've noticed this come up for me specific to some of my core root desires in life. I still find myself getting into sticky thought areas around that. And when I do, it can then create senses of like sadness or depressed feelings. And then they come, that continues down a spiral. And so if you become a heightened observer of when you're falling into those thought habits, you can shift them more easily with different ways of thinking and using your time and availability to be creative and pursue what matters most to you in life. Everything is possible from a heightened observer's perspective. And so the invitation is, again, to notice if you speak or think or create a set of actions in your life that are limiting you. Tease those apart and see what's really underlying them, what's blocking you, and what is open to you if you are willing to try to heal, release, move on, and try something new. Thanks for tuning in.